News that Russian government hackers were behind an attack on White House computer systems isn't that surprising. What's shocking is that they were successful, as they were against similar unclassified systems at the Department of State. The attacks raise questions with seriously dangerous answers about how safe we are from cyber attacks that have major national security implications. After all, if they could infiltrate the White House, shutting down power grids doesn't seem that hard after all. Fox News national security analyst KT McFarland joins us now. KT, appreciate it. Has this gone on for decades in terms of Cold War-esque spying between the United States and Russia, and simply hacking is the latest version of it, or is this new?
Well, it's new, and it's in fact much more serious. Why? Because we're the most vulnerable country to any kind of cyber attack, cyber hacking. Why? Everything we do is on the internet. Everything we do is on computers. So we're the most vulnerable. But Leland, there's a new thing in the cyber war, cyber age, and that's, you know, in the good old days when you had large militaries, you needed a navy, you needed an air force, you needed an army to wage war against another country. Now all you need is some guy with a computer. So the barrier of entry is very low. And then finally, the problem with it is you don't see this coming. It's almost impossible to detect where a cyber attack is coming from. There's no return address on it. And so it becomes very difficult for us to get out ahead of it. And so far, all we're doing is playing catch-up. You know, somebody hacks into the White House, what do? Well, we defend ourselves against that hack attack. The problem is the hackers have moved on to the next level.
Does the United States have hackers that can then go after these hackers in terms of retaliatory responses? We saw what happened with North Korea, where North Korea's internet was suddenly shut down, coincidentally, after the attack on Sony Pictures. Does the United States have an offensive cyber warfare capability? If so, are we using it?
Well, that's a really good question. A lot of that is classified. I'm assuming, and in fact most reports are, that we do have a limited cyber offensive capability. But what we don't have is, if you look at, say, for example, the Chinese have a cyber unit in the Chinese military whose job it is to look at American defense industries, steal blueprints, and then use them for the Chinese. Now, if we wanted a cyber, an offensive capability in response, what are we going to steal from the Chinese? They're not making stuff we want to steal. So we don't have that ability to sort of go tit for tat. I think what we ought to do is take it to the next level, though, and the offensive capability that we need is to tear down their cyber walls. I mean, Leland, who's hacking into the American grid? Who's hacking into the American government? It's China, it's Russia, it's Iran, it's North Korea. What do those countries all have in common? They don't let their people see what the World Wide Web is doing. They all censor their population's access to the internet. So I think we go back to the Chinese and say, you're hacking into our computer systems, you want to come into the White House? We're going to take down your cyber wall. We're going to take down your firewall, and then you can deal with a population that isn't terribly happy about what you're doing.
And the reciprocity multiplier begins. National security expert KT McFarland, we appreciate you as always. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Leland.
All the best.